welcome back. Today you join me partway through a little project. Nothing major, and I probably wasn't going to film it, but I sent a couple of pictures to a friend and they said, oh, I look forward to seeing that video. So I thought, oh, I'd better do something. So what are we doing? I'm on the 7 1/4 Jinty. Now, one of the things that bugged me a little bit about it, not the end of the world, doesn't really make a difference, but the cab felt very open. I'll see if I can find a picture of the cab, or a little bit of video or something, and I'll put it in here, around about here somewhere. As you can see, it's got a very, very open feel. In fact, I might take the bits out to give you another view of it. Didn't feel particularly good. Not good, probably the wrong word. Nothing wrong with it, it just didn't feel like a tank engine cab. So, what are we doing? I've done it in wood to begin with. If that doesn't last, then I'll get some metal to replace it. But I just wasn't really sure if it was going to be the right answer, whether it was going to work or not. I didn't want to waste the time and effort of doing this in metal when I could do it in wood to begin with and then do it again later once I had a wooden template. So let's have a look. So this is the coal space divide installed. That makes it feel a lot more tank engine like already. Doesn't feel such a vast space now. But the next thing I want to do is put a wooden floor in. Now, the wooden floor should come out at the same level as that centerpiece, then there's a backing piece behind. Again, for the time being, I'm going to do it all with wood. So, because I sometimes need to lift that center panel, I'm going to do this wood in 3 pieces. I've taken the brake out at the moment, that's got to go back in. So to lift it up, I cut some strip of wood, reasonable thickness, and that is going to take up well, that one needs to be smaller actually once the brake goes in the way. Something like that for the wooden floor to sit on. And then, as if by magic, we have a piece of floor. And I've got similar for the other side and a piece to go on the middle. The piece for the middle is here. I'm going to show you something about those dots in a minute, which I've already recorded. There's the piece for the other side, and the hole there is for the oil pot dipstick, because once I put this in, the dipstick was going to be in the wrong height, so I needed to either take some off the bottom of this or recess it into there, but there wasn't enough of the spout sticking up, so it had to be recessed. So I'm going to put together what I've got so far and show you how I drilled part drilled them, or how I marked them for part drilling. They're there because there's rivets on the plate. And then I'll put this back together and we'll be pretty much up to date. We'll take a look. So I've cut it all to shape in 3 pieces. Had to cut around things that stick out, like this pipe. It's set up on this pipe, but I'm going to show you how I located something. On the underside of this, I'll get it up. there are some rivets here. So I've already, it's already happened. I put a bit of paint on those top of those rivet heads, put this in place, and you can see where they are. Now the reason there's only 2 of them there and the other ones are all already done. I wasn't going to film this, but I have now. I did them, but it wasn't sitting down because that pipe in the corner was in the way. So now I've cut space for that pipe. It's going to sit nicely, and as you see, I put it in and the rivet positions have been marked. So now I can go to the drilling machine, use a little end mill and drill them out. So my next problem is the pipe for the lubricator that I cover with my dummy bucket. I've put the bucket on top in the right place to leave a mark of where it needs to be, and I'm going to just cut that away deeper so that the bucket sits down through the wood. Now that's not going to be easy with a drill because I got the original hole in the wrong place, but I'm going to try it with the jigsaw, and I'm going to slowly open out sort of in all directions to make it a round hole. There we go. Looks a bit better, doesn't it? Now it would be a pain, like I say, I need to get this up every now and again, so it's a pain trying to get that centre piece of wood up, and indeed the metal floor underneath it. So I did drill through both, and that bolt, which is a sort of slotless dome-headed bolt, I've just bolted right through so that I can use it to lift it all up. Much better. So that is where we're up to. The bunker, I haven't decided yet. I might just leave it full of coal. I might build a platform up to just below the top and then just put a little bit of coal in the top. I haven't decided yet. But certainly it will look a lot better. Maybe just half fill it. Who knows? Next stage, I'm going to put some grooves on the planks because that will look groovy, and varnish it. But I'll probably join it to certainly the side pieces need joining to the blocks of wood underneath. So let's get on with that. Now, I'm sure when it comes to planking foot plates, there's people with other theories, other options, better options than what I do. But what I've done is mark out positions for how many planks there's going to be. I measure the panel and work out what's going to look nice, mark it front and back, and then scribe it with a pen. And then when I varnish it, that will look lovely, I think, or good enough for what I want anyway. So let's get it back on the engine, see how it looks, see if there's anything else I need to do. I need to do a little cutout for the brake stand, so let's get that done before we get too far, and then get some varnish on and leave it for tomorrow. So I have super glued the supports underneath on both the side pieces. One of them didn't stick, but that one doesn't matter. It was a middle one, and I've used the end of my pot of glue. So all that remains for now is painting or varnishing, and as you can see, the before and after of the plain wood and the varnished wood. The varnish I'm using, Ronseal interior varnish. Whether the interior one is a bad choice, I don't know. It's the same one I used on the pom-pom, if you were watching when I was doing that, and also with the Juliet Jack, both of which I think came out pretty well. Jack may be even better. I think I put an extra couple of coats of varnish on, which brought it up a little bit darker, or I might have put the coats on a bit thicker. So I'll try and do that this time, try and be quite generous with it, not so that there's enough that it runs, but enough that it's got quite a bit of sort of the pigment to soak in, because we don't want it too light in there, but at the same time I'm using the wood to try and lighten up the inside. Now down the side, this piece will be painted black, so I'm not too worried about getting the varnish on it. And yeah, well, there's only so much watching people paint that you can do. There's only so much I can talk about the paint. So I'm going to carry on with this, and I will come back to you when they're done, possibly tomorrow when I'm ready to put them back in the engine and we can see what it looks like. And there we go. You can quite clearly see the difference between the original wood colour and the varnished wood colour. So it's a satin varnish, so it won't be shiny. Dark oak, so it won't be too bright in there, but it will bring a bit of light brightness to the black cab. And while that's drying, I've also given the brake stand a coat of paint as it was off. I'll put one more coat of the paint on that before I go in for the night. And then tomorrow I will not be here, because tomorrow is my anniversary and we're going away for a couple of days. But by the time you see this, we'll be back, and that will have been put back on the engine, the cab floor will be back in, and I'm about to show you what that looks like, hopefully. Okay, so I couldn't wait for the weekend. I had to get dressed in the morning and then take a look at how it goes together. I've put it back together, bit of a tight fit in places. I don't know if the varnish has made the wood grow slightly, but I can sort that when I get back. But take a look at this. There we go. How much better does that look? I still need to paint these side pieces black, but that looks so much better. I am back from my weekend and I've been doing a few more bits to the engine. As you can see, I've painted that bit under the floorboard. And let's take another look inside the coal space, because I've been doing a bit more in there. So as you can see, I've put those two wooden blocks on. They are purely screwed on from the other side. And the idea of them is these panels here. It's easier with the other hand. So that goes in there like that. It's got a little cutout around a strap that's in the middle there, and it's got a cutout around the angle in the corner, and then there is another one that finishes the end. So that allows me to fill the space with coal, and then once the roof's on, I think we are good to go. I should point out the wood is about here, which it's sitting on that angular end. So one block there, and then sitting on top of that, it can't go down anymore. So let's get that filled up with coal. I might need to do something actually, because that could tip. I stopped the wood short at the end, so I didn't have trouble putting it in. I'm sort of regretting it at this end now, but let's see if I can do something. So a simple single screw has done the job there. This one can take out by hand easily if I need to get inside for a repair, but it's not hard to take one screw out otherwise. So what else have I done? Well, I have teed into this pipe here and fitted, probably can't see it, but you can see that there is the adjuster for a vacuum limiting valve, which is in there. There was already a hole in the frame. I just made the hole a little bit bigger and tapped it, and then that screwed on, and then I silver soldered the little pipe onto the train pipe so that we've got the vacuum limiting valve. So the reason for that valve is when you use vacuum brakes, the engine creates the vacuum that generates the vacuum through the train to lift the brakes off. Well, this didn't have one, didn't have the vacuum limiting valve anyway. So I think when I went to another club, I caused some problems because I was generating 20 odd inches of vacuum, but other people were only generating 16 because that's what their valves were set to. So I might have been making some people work a bit harder than they needed to be on that day. So that's now fitted, so I shouldn't cause that problem again. So I think we are ready for a season's running. Let me finish putting this back together, put some coal in, and then we can see it finished. And there we go. Other than a polish up, she is ready to take to the rails. I did have to modify the roof ever so slightly because it now, with the coal in the way, it couldn't slide back as far as it needed to. So I've taken off some more of the runner down the side so it just engages before it drops in. But doesn't that look better? So all that remains is a big thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe and share and whatever else there is to do. The next time we see this, it should be out on the track because all I've got left to do to it is polish everything, and you don't want to see that. So maybe one night I'll sit and polish it and do a live thing if anyone's interested. We'll see. But in the meantime, I don't know what else there is coming up. This will next be out on the track. I hope there was a chance to take it somewhere next week, but other plans have got in the way, so it may not be until I go to Hemsby at the end of the month. So other than that, thanks for watching. I will be back with something soon. We'll see what else there is for me to do. There is another little parcel that I had turn up that is for the 7 1/4. We'll have a go at that at some point. And the 3D printed wagon still needs finishing. I've got to do some sides for it. There is some wood around somewhere. I think it's over the back, which will make some sides and we'll groove some planks in it. I just haven't got around to that because there's other things in the way. But that will happen at some point. But thanks for watching, and I will be back soon. Ta-da.